I'm Rick Kaler. Thanks for joining me. I thought that I knew a lot about travel insurance until recently when I learned something new, and it was a really expensive tuition. My wife and I had booked an expedition cruise to the Arctic for our 30th wedding anniversary. The mechanical cancellation of a Delta flight delayed us by 25 hours. And a long story that resulted in us missing the sailing. Because it was an expedition cruise, and that means it's in a hard to access area, there wasn't any opportunity for us to catch up with the ship. But no worries, as always. I had purchased travel insurance, and as always, I assumed cancellation coverage was for any cancellation of a common carrier resulting in you losing your non-refundable deposits like your cruise fare. I also assumed that purchasing travel interruption for any reason coverage, which covered 75% of the trip cost, meant just that, for any reason. Unfortunately, I had not read the 48 pages of fine print and relied on the summaries by the agent. Had I done that, it would have revealed that my assumptions were wrong. Unfortunately, my expensive lesson didn't end there. The insurance company required the airline to provide a written statement of the reason for cancellation, and when I received this form, Delta listed the reason for the cancellation as late arriving aircraft. I've seen this lack of clarity multiple times, where there's a mechanical delay, but it's blamed on the weather. And I've been indignant about that, assuming it was due to the airlines not being responsible for providing passengers with accommodation if the delay was caused by weather. I let the airline know I didn't appreciate their dishonesty. I also made a point of letting the insurance company know the cancellation was not due to weather, but due to a mechanical delay. This was before I understood the financial implications of my righteous indignation. Had it been a weather cancellation, which is almost always covered if the delay is more than a few hours, we would have been fully covered. I learned that cancellations due to mechanical issues are not always covered, and ours was not. Staying quiet and letting the airline's reason speak for itself could have saved me thousands of dollars. So the question is, does this experience change my recommendation to purchase trip insurance? And I would say no, not at all. You just have to purchase the right trip insurance. The biggest reason to have this coverage is for the medical and evacuation coverage, which is not covered by most U.S. health insurance policies. The cost of medical attention or air evacuation home when you're overseas because of a serious illness or accident can mount really quickly into the tens, even hundreds of thousands of dollars. A second important reason is in the case you become ill before a trip. And this is especially important if you will lose significant non-refundable deposits, such as cruise fares, but also prepaid lodging, tuition, even event tickets. The few trips I've had to cancel over the years were due to illness, and having this coverage paid off, and it's paid every time. I've also used the trip interruption coverage several times when a serious delay in a cruise departure required us to pay additional lodging and transportation and expenses, waiting for the ship in one case to come out of an emergency dry dock, or catching up to the ship in another case. I've collected when delayed baggage required my family to purchase clothing and necessities. Once, when our baggage never did catch up with us, we collected the coverage amount for lost baggage. So I certainly intend to buy travel insurance the next time I travel out of the country. I still strongly recommend that you do the same and verify that you actually have the coverage you assume you are purchasing. And the bottom line is make sure that a mechanical delay of 6 hours or less is covered for both cancellation and trip interruption. And if you purchase travel interruption for any reason, be sure you understand their definition of any. It won't be on the summary sites. You're going to have to click into or request the whole 48 pages. Adequate travel insurance can really save you stress, hassle, and money, and especially when learning from my costly mistake, you clarify the details before you buy. Next week, I'll cover some tools that will help you do exactly that. Thanks for listening.